Hi, this is Jason Leahy, Executive Director of the Illinois Principals Association. Thanks for joining me for this IPA talk. Grateful to have joining me here Paul Kelly, President of IPA for the 2023-2024 school year, principal up in District 214, Elk Grove High School. Thanks, Paul, for joining me for a little bit.
You got it. It's good to be here. Glad to join.
Yeah, you bet. So, Paul, one of the things I want to do at the start of every year, is just talk a little bit about the year ahead with our new presidents. You know, it's July 19th, so you're about 19 days on the job, but of course, I've served as president-elect and was the state director for the North Cook region, all of that good stuff. But just want to kind of get your thoughts about things for the year ahead. But before doing that, thought it'd be nice to learn a little bit about your background and even what got you into the seat that you're sitting in right now.
Yeah, it seems like seems like a long time ago that I got into this seat, but then in some ways it feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
So I've been the principal here at Elk Grove for 10 years, and this will be my 11th year coming up. Was a social studies teacher in a couple different places, down in South Cook at Carl Sandburg High School at the start, and then in DuPage at Hinsdale South High School, and then was an administrator at John Hersey High School up here in North Cook. But my journey in education kind of took the shape that it did based upon a whole bunch of experiences that I had growing up and in the schools that I went to. And I'm one of those probably rarities in the state that has been to Chicago Public School as a student, rural Southern Illinois school as a student, and a little bit everywhere in between. And now working at the schools up here in the suburbs, it's just been an amazing experience, and I love the job I've got, and love connecting with people from all over the state. Kind of have roots in a little bit of everywhere in Illinois, so it's been an amazing experience to be part of the IPA group and really get to know, and in some ways reconnect with people that have been a part of my life from decades ago.
Right.
So,
well, in fact, I think I've eaten at the Dairy Queen you used to work at in Carmi, right?
That is correct. Ago. Yeah, that's right. So Carmi, I lived in Carmi down in White County, and then graduated from Norris City, Omaha Enfield High School, NCOE Fighting Cardinals back in 93. So
right. Yeah. I think you had a little longer hair in the back at that point.
A little bit of a mullet there. It was a little darker too,
Funny how that changes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, can you just talk to us a little bit, Paul, about your school that you're leader of now?
Yeah, Elk Grove High School. Again, we're kind of like I kind of think of it as like the really like the current modern American suburb. Really, we are very diverse. We have a huge socioeconomic range. We got families that whose first ones in their families to go to high school are right here in our midst, and we've got families who have been to college and their kids are going to follow suit. I find us to be just really the amazing example of the diversity that has really come to Illinois and really the whole country, where we're very diverse ethnically, linguistically, socioeconomically. We've got kids at Harvard and Carnegie Mellon, and a great kid just graduated from MIT, and another one's going to be a senior there at MIT. And then we got kids that they're going to work from the moment they graduate here with their family in a business that they own, working on vehicles. So we've got a robust career pathways program. We've got robust academic programs for people that are going more traditional college route, and everything in between. So it's really a school that has just an unbelievable set of opportunities for our kids, for which we're extremely grateful. But in a lot of ways, though, it's just a high school like everybody else's. We have a lot of resources. We're really fortunate, but we've got kids who need great teachers, and teachers who need a system to function properly. And therefore, our job as the leaders of this school and around the state our job really is to make sure that our teachers are in a position to be able to be successful, because they're the ones that truly get the work done on a day-to-day basis with our kids.
Yeah. So that kind of leads into another question that I've got for you, Paul. When you just think about your own personal philosophy of school leadership, what's most critical, and I'll just prepare you. It's kind of a follow-up to that. I'd be curious about, and I can revisit this as a reminder, but just kind of curious about your perception about, the status of school leadership in the state right now. What are maybe some of the burning issues that school leaders are dealing with? But before that, just get into a little bit of just your own personal philosophy related to school leadership and what's helped you be as successful as you've been.
I think that you do have to have a grounding in some sort of belief system that really kind of keeps you attuned to the needs of the community. I think that first and foremost, we are servants to the public. We are here to serve the communities in which we live and work. These, our residents, whether they have kids in our schools or not, they are putting forth a great deal of resources to help us exist, whether that's taxes, whether that's just their emotional support, whatever it is. We get a ton from our community, and yes, that includes our kids and their families, but it also includes people who live right across the street that do not have kids here. We have to keep in mind that we are, in many respects, the linchpin of the community, and we are, in many respects, the shining star of our communities, and we have to take that very seriously. At the same time, as school leaders, we got to turn to inward to look at our own systems and make sure that the people we've got are able to do the jobs that they have. I've joked many times that school could exist without a principal. It cannot exist without teachers.
Yeah.
A school without a principal makes me sad because I am one. That would be like real bummer. But
Right.
And sure, you'd be disorganized and kind of chaotic. But our job is to prevent that disorganization and chaos. People need to be protected from all that noise so they can do the job that's most important, which is to truly, on a day-to-day basis, reach each kid. And then I get the amazing opportunity to help support that, and then also be, in many respects, figurehead for the community and the kids to really get to know kids in my role, which is awesome. It's really fun to be considered the principal who took the time to talk to the kid. And then parents will say, I never even knew who my principal was. And I'm like, well, that's not special about me. That's the current high school principal of Illinois and beyond. We know that our job is to be special to the kids, not to be tucked away in our offices, making policies and sending out dictates. That's not but hey, if they want to say I'm good at that, great. I'll take the credit for it. What I really want to say is look at every school around us. Every principal here knows you got to get that job done and make sure the community and the kids know that you're there for them. You're not taking up space just with a job that you kind of feel like would be fun.
You bet. So, Paul, you've obviously had an opportunity, through your work with IPA. And I know you're a humble guy, won't bring this stuff up yourself, but I'll mention, your finals for National Principal of the Year a few years ago. Just had a variety of opportunity to experience different things, meet different people from across the country that are school leaders, of course. Do some different things in the policy realm. I know that I think, testified in front of Congress before.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Yeah. I think, was it around mental health issues?
It was around, yeah. And that was before COVID. So it was like a mental health pre the pandemic that has even exacerbated that. But
yeah. So, like, just from your own perspective as a sitting school leader, what's your sense of things with regards to the job of school leader, and what are some of our unique opportunities right now, and maybe what are some of the things that challenge us from your perspective?
Well, it's interesting you just brought up mental health, because that was from a student perspective, but I think mental health of school leaders is got to be at the forefront. We are absolutely have gone through a few years that in which that our limits have been tested and our emotional resolve has been tested. I have absolutely felt, like many of my colleagues, like, I don't know. It's a little I have to be vulnerable and honest that there have been moments where I've thought, like, if I'm, do I still have it? Is this still something?
Yeah.
And you got to dig down deep and tell yourself, you knew this would be the way it is. You knew this was going to happen. You knew there'd be moments like this, and you got to seek help from others around you, which is why the IPA is so important. You got to be able to turn to others for support. You can't do it alone. It can be a very lonely job, but there are resources, there is camaraderie, there is networking that is all around us if we go looking for it.
Well, and a shameless plug here for IPA is just the member assistance program that we've got. That is a robust resource. It's not a cheap resource for the association, but when the board discussed that, we just recognized how important it was to make sure that was a fallback option for people to have. Right. We definitely encourage people to check that out if there's
no question. It's confidential and it's free to members, and it is something that nobody's going to judge you for having needed to ask somebody for advice, or whether it's financial, whether it's emotional, all kinds of things that are out there. So
Well, and I'll just offer too, it's not only there for the members themselves, but the members of their family too. It extends to
Right,
that as
right.
well, which is a big deal.
So I feel like that emotional toil that things have been facing really is what helped drive my decision in conversations I had with colleagues to kind of take the IPA for my year as the president here in the direction that I feel like I want to go, which is forward. I know it seems like it's pretty like all right, yeah, well, leading forward. Of course, you're going to lead forward, but to me, it has a special significance, especially in the context of the previous themes for the past couple of years. Last year, Leaders of Hope with President Raul Gaston. Previous year, Legacy of Leadership with President Dr. Marcus Beelan. There's a legacy. Look into the past. Yeah. There's the hope during these times of troubles, really, for lack of a better way to put it, and like we can make it. And this is that next step of let's go. We've survived the sort of worst of some of these challenges. So now let's pull together, kind of reassert our ability and convince each other again, we are okay. We are going to be okay. We can do this. If we stay together and if we turn to each other, like with organizations like this one, we can survive this kind of thing and be stronger for having gone through what we've gone through.
So when you think about the whole notion of leading forward, Paul, and as you know, I love that theme. I mean, for a lot of different reasons, but because I think it's optimistic, right? In so many ways as we think about things looking forward. So, from your perspective, either, within your own school, as you look at school leadership more broadly, what do you see as some leading forward opportunities for school leaders in the moment that we're in right now?
Yeah,
I think it's still not easy, right?
No,
COVID's done, but we're dealing with some tough political circumstances right now in some places more so than others. Still dealing with equity related issues for kids, all that stuff, but still, there's a lot of opportunity in all of that.
That's right. And I think that some of those lessons that have emerged during the pandemic and in the aftermath, those are the kinds of things. We don't leave that all behind. We take with us what we've learned and we go now. We act now. We stop looking at what we can't do and we start talking about. So, we've got to move. We've got kids that for years didn't do a whole lot, and we've figured out a way to not excuse that, but to kind of say, well, it's going to be tough. How about we get our own selves moving and get those kids with us, believing, no, it's time to act. It's time to improve. It's time to be all that we can right now. And I think one of the most direct ways to do that is to think about the school leader paradigm and leadership within the school leader paradigm in culture and systems and learning, and think about, if we're moving forward with regard to school culture, what does that look like? Well, we got to re-up our positivity. We got to re-up our convincing ourselves and those who are here that we're gonna do this. We're gonna achieve at the high levels we ever did before, and even beyond. To convince our staffs that we've made this, we've made it through the toughest of this. Let's go. Let's be together on our initiatives. Let's work hard together. And again, as someone in charge of that, setting that cultural tone in my building, then I got to be the one that's set, as our secretary, Dr. Tron Young would say, be the thermostat. Yeah. I need to be the one who's setting the feel in our building. July
rather 9th, than the thermometer, right? Love that. I love that. Yeah.
It's perfect. Now today's July 19th. So boy, does it feel in the summer.
Yeah.
We watch this in January, then we're like, oh my God, but we got to be the ones that are committed to keeping that fire. In systems, there are a lot of kids we found left behind during COVID. But what systems have we implemented to ensure that doesn't happen? What kind of infrastructure have we put in place? What kind of checks on home situations, whether it's connectivity, what kinds of systems have we put in place? The learning aspect of it, with respect to major advancements in artificial intelligence and other things, we need to be at the cutting edge of that, knowing not every possible variable that could come into play, not every answer to every question, but we need to embrace this as a way to change the way that we expect kids to learn and change the way that they do learn, and embrace the things that we've experienced, whether we liked them or not, during this time, and move forward. So whether it's learn how to channel AI to get kids to learn better, that's forward thinking. That isn't AI, boy, that's scary. We better ban that. Really? Good luck. Good luck trying to ban that.
Because the kids always will work around that.
Totally.
Right.
So that culture, the
Yep.
systems and learning, all three of these areas that are contained in the paradigm,
Right.
all of those, we've got to be forward thinking about what those are and work together to do it.
Yeah, and those are exciting things for us for sure, Paul, and looking forward to more of that from you and just conversations for us as a board as we look at our strategic plan here moving forward. And I think what I'll just say to tag on to what you're offering there with regards to the paradigm is just to give a heads up to the membership that the school leader paradigm system is really in play right now. And we'll talk more about that as we move forward to let people know the various supports and resources that we're going to have available for people to dig deeper with regards to culture, systems, and learning, as well as looking at the dispositional side of leadership on the other side of the paradigm with the personal, social, and systems intelligences too. So a lot more to come with regards to that.
Yeah, and it's the website and all the tools that are available to IPA members are greater than they have ever been. And
Yeah.
the design team and the content team have done phenomenal work to make this as I would consider it, and seeing that I've met people from around the country and talked about their professional organizations, IPA is the premier principals organization in the country. There's no question in my mind that whether it's the ELN or just the networking that we do in our regions or the conference, all of it, we are at the very top of the list of quality state school leader organizations.
Yeah, well, and so that leads to my next question, Paul. And those people, if everybody may be asking, like, they just writing from a script here, and that's not exactly true. And you've kind of answered this question to a degree in that last statement there. But you've had now an opportunity to elevate to this position of being president of a statewide organization that's got over 6,100 members. Actually, I looked earlier today; it's actually over 62 in the moment. So we're starting to get knock up against maybe a record number of members for the association here.
Well, I get to take credit for that, right?
Well, absolutely. Yeah, you've been 19 good politicians. That's, I think, what they do.
All right.
It works. So
can't be a coincidence.
No, but seriously though, if I could just ask for you to kind of reflect, what really kind of nudged you along or influenced you to even take the first step to join and then also to get involved, because you've obviously been involved in your region board there in North Cook. You've sat as a state director, and gotten involved with some of the national stuff that we've got going on, and now served as an officer. So just kind of curious to have you take us through that just a little bit.
Yeah. So when I became a principal, I was kind of, well, I guess you join the organization of your profession. So, okay. Yeah. Sure. No real sense of what it would mean. No real sense of why I would be doing it. No real sense of anything. Just thought, well, that's kind of cool. Now my title's principal. I guess I should be part of some organization. That'd be great. So I did. And so then I end up on a list of people who are in something. And then I had people in my region, which I didn't know existed, called North Cook, call and say, welcome. I got a card in the mail and a welcome thing from Jason Leahy. Mm-hmm. Welcomed me to this profession, and if you ever need anything, just reach out and call. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. And then I probably threw that away. And it was people down the street that said, we have a meeting every month on Friday morning, and it'd be great if you came. And I was flattered, truly. And there was no need to be flattered. What I discovered later is they do that for everybody. But at the time I was like, well, that's cool. Somebody wants me to come and be part of this little group that they're in. So I went and I sat in on North Cook region board meetings and was like, so these people are talking about, I remember the state director at the time was talking about things that you would be talking about at your board meetings. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No idea. But the region director in the structure is really the hub of the person who's sort of taking the lead in your area. And they were the person who was talking about, well, we're going to have this event where you get to recognize kids. And I'm like, well, I'm up for that. Yeah. We have this event where we get to recognize our assistants. Yep. And I was like, well, I might be up for that. We'll find out later about that. I don't know how she is yet. We'll see. And then you have we're going to be together to just talk about our challenges and shared struggles and and victories and everything in between. And I looped in there, and then they said, hey, listen, we have an open board spot, a board member at large. And I was like, a board member? What? Yeah. It's that's amazing. So there it was. So I think this is what makes this organization extremely special? It's because somebody asked you, somebody reached out and said, hey, what would you think about being part of this thing? And then when you're part of that thing, they say, so listen, people are going to rotate off the position of leadership. Have you ever thought about being like a leader of this, or, this region? So I think it was my 4th year maybe or something. They're like, we need a region director. Before that it was, we need a treasurer. I'm like, you don't want me as a treasurer, trust me. Like, no, really. We just got to go to the bank and get your name on it. So like, all right, I'll do that. So, but it was just a little bit of hook in, but it was the relationships that kept me going. And so literally yesterday, I got an email from a former student that said, congratulations, I saw that you're the president of the IPA. That's so cool. And, et cetera. And I'm just starting my first assistant principalship, and I've just joined the IPA, and I'm like, that is amazing. So
That's
here's
so wicked.
I screenshotted the DuPage officers.
Yep.
And I sent that email saying, here's your people. Send them an email and say, I'm new to this profession, new to this region. And they will welcome you with open arms, and you will feel like you are part of something extremely special. And I just thought that's very, very cool to be able to do what somebody did for me in those years. And, and
generational stuff. Hey, I'd like to have that person's name too, by the way. I'd be happy to shoot him an email, whatever. That would be terrific. That would be so much fun to do that. Well, I'm grateful for you to share your journey a little bit, Paul, because I don't know that everybody understands, what it takes and are interested in getting involved. I was fortunate that I had one of my former principals who, when I moved out of being a teacher for him into my own principalship, he's like, we got to get you involved in the Central Illinois Valley region at IPA. I said, give me 1 year to get my feet on the ground, then I'm all in. And then and after that first year, as promised, I got right to it, and boom, and off and running, and here we go. And then of course being able to serve in this position for a while. So it takes a little bit of both. You need, obviously, those that are in, we've got to do our part, but you've also got to be willing to step out, right? Take a little bit of risk, and just know there's open invitation from us to, if you need somebody to ask questions to, email and ask about that. I'm on board with it, ready to go.
And for anybody that's watching this, and Jason means that, if you need something from Jason, he will respond to you immediately and offer you his own personal and any other professional help that's available. This organization takes care of its members.
That's right.
People in it truly take care of each other, which is why, having just returned from the National Secondary Schools Principal Conference in July, which was a real, inspiring, get charged up event, which is extra cool. Our fall conference being in October is a perfect time. It's not a great time to get out of your building, because we all know that. However, this is why we have to fight that, I can't go. But with that that's not leading forward. It's not. That's thinking about I just have too much to do. I can't get out of here. If we continue to stick ourselves in situations where we can't grow because we're too busy to grow, then that's really going to burn people out. They're not going to keep going. The average tenure for a principal is far too short. Right. And it's October when you need that recharge. You need to connect with people who are like, wow, is it only October? And
I've had those moments. Yes, for sure. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
professional, social, all of it. But you got a little bit of time here before the early bird discount goes away on July 31st. So everybody, get out there and do your registration at a little bit of a lower rate. And if you miss that, you still got to get in there. You still got to get in there, because come October, you need that. And a little trip to Peoria, with people who truly believe passionately in the same things you believe, it is just what the doctor ordered for a school principal.
Well, and not only do we have to have that for our own personal charge, it's important. People only can get from us as leaders from the overflow, right? You got to fill yourself up to the point of overflow. And so we've got to make sure that we continue to pour in, or otherwise we're not going to have anything to pour out at all.
And I should add, it's not just for principals. It's, any school administrator who, believe that maybe you aspire to be a principal, or you have a principal who wants to take a team, do that. What's your principal about? What if we win as a team? The bonding and the networking that can take place for all of a school's leadership team or a district's leadership team. It is profound. And I will tell you that, having gone to this conference for approximately a decade. The audience, the participants, and the members of this that attend this, it is not the same group as it was when I began. Yep. It has become extraordinarily diverse. It has included people from public and private schools. Right. It has included people from urban and rural and suburban areas at a level that was not true when I started. Urban schools did not participate. Yeah. It seemed like the Chicago area, Chicago schools weren't really there, and that is not the case now. And it's amazing. It's awesome to see that has changed.
And it's wonderful for us to all be there together with a common purpose, right, of doing what's best for young people and those that we serve in our communities, which is terrific. So Paul, I know you've got some other things going on here this afternoon on a busy summer day, and appreciate being able to have this conversation. But just to kind of wrap things up with this final question here, just curious from your perspective, why be a school leader? Why is it so important? Why is it something to really consider doing? From your perspective, why is it important to be a school leader and consider that as a viable career choice?
If you got to have, first of all, if you don't feel a deep passion for changing the lives of other people, don't be one.
That's right.
Good way to. Yep. I mean, if you don't feel like it's part of your life's mission to have other people leave better than when you got there, then, maybe you should choose a different role. But if you do, if you believe that it's important, and if you're a teacher, you have this. If you're a teacher, you have this feeling like I need to make people's lives better. And that's why I became a teacher. And it doesn't, it increases the range and the type of impact you can have. So a teacher has just a momentous impact on everybody's future because of the way that they work with each kid. A school leader has a momentous impact on an entire community all at the same time. So you have a momentous impact on kids. And today's school principal, the best of the school principals of today, they know who kids are, kids know who they are, and their parents say, I never had that. Today's school principal has the ability to get out there and really know kids, and kids are blown away by the fact that you act like you care all the time and that you're at their events and that you celebrate them. We seek ways to do that. And IPA helps you figure out ways to do it if you don't know them all, because you can't. But the information is there for you in a network. But you have the ability to impact a whole town. You have the ability to impact a whole neighborhood, a whole community, a whole county, all around our state. Our school districts are so different. 800 plus school districts. I went to K through 12, North City, Illinois, tiny little district. I work now in a district that is 6 high schools comprehensive and then 1 specialized school. So 7 schools total. It couldn't be more different. But what is the very, very same is whoever went into that has the belief, whoever went into that leadership role has the belief, I'm here to make a positive impact on everybody in this whole system, regardless of their role. Custodians, administrative assistants, people that are walking down the street with their dog. You have an impact. One of my sister schools, Prospect High School, a neighbor watched the Prospect Marching Knights play for decades. She's moving. They came and did a special concert for her.
Oh my gosh.
Her at her home across the way. I mean, it gives you chills to think about. But that's the impact schools have on their communities, and leaders of those schools have the ability to, if you drive home in your community, you know what it's like. If you drive out of your community, but you leave it behind every time you're on your commute home, you leave thinking, these people are better because I was there. Not to be arrogant, but like it's because of the passion, the ability that you have to shape. So I think that this is a long answer. The short way to put it, we have a huge opportunity to impact entire communities of people all at once.
I've had over the years, this is the start of year 18 for me here at IPA. And over the years, I've had the opportunity to visit many, many schools, including yours, Paul. I've been in your building a couple of times, actually. One just to come visit and get a tour, and others just because of natural meetings that popped up or whatever. And right, wrong, or indifferent, the personality of the school takes on the personality of the principal, hands down, everyone. And it just shares the total opportunity there for impact and influence that you have it in sitting in that seat.
Yep. And as we talk about leading forward, where's this community think we're going? Does it think we're going somewhere? And if we're going somewhere, is it to a same old, or is it to a future that is better than anything that they could have imagined? If we believe that it can be, and we lead that way, then our schools and then the future generations, they're going to continue to make a better life for us and take care of us when we're not here anymore. I want to make a community and help build a community that that when I am no longer in this field, it cares about me still, not because I was a principal, because I'm a human and I have dignity and importance because I'm alive and here. That's the kind of school we want to have and the kids we want to raise.
That's terrific. Well, appreciate your time here, Paul. And for those watching, you can see Paul Kelly, president of IPA here for the 2023-2024 school year, October 15th through the 17th in Peoria for the annual conference, with the theme being Leading Forward, which is something I'm really excited about. So again, thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you, Jason. Have a great afternoon.
Pleasure. Again, my name is Jason Leahy, Executive Director for IPA. As always, if there's anything we can do for you, give us a call or check us out on the web at www.ilprinciples.org. Take care.